Welcome, my dear friends and students. In previous video, I explained the two theorem related to the moment of inertia, that is the parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. Now we have to apply that two theorems to find out the moment of inertia of a various object. In our new textbook, we have to derive the formula for moment of inertia for two objects. The first one is a ring and second one, that is the disk. Now first of all, let us consider how to find the moment of inertia of a ring about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane. Now in order to explain the concept, now all of you know the ring. This one is a ring. Now this ring is kept in a horizontal plane. Now if this ring is rotating about an axis passing through the center. Now this is the axis around which this ring rotates, and this axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane. So this is the situation where we have to derive the moment of inertia. Now here for that I draw a diagram. So I consider the ring which is kept in a horizontal plane and it is rotating about an axis passing through the center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. So our consideration is, now you have to consider the object as a ring. So consider a thin, a uniform ring rotating about an axis passing through center and perpendicular to plane. So that is our first point of consideration. Now secondly, you have to consider the parameter of that ring. Now let capital M, that is the mass of ring, capital R, that is the radius of ring. Now here you have to consider the length of that ring. So all of you know that the length of circular object is nothing but the circumference. So that's why right here L equal to 2 pi r, that is the length of ring. Now you have to consider one more physical quantity, that is M by L, which is equal to M upon 2 pi r, which is called as mass per unit length. We are discussing here the various parameters which are important in the derivation of formula of moment of inertia of a ring. We consider mass of the ring, we consider radius of the ring, we consider the total length of the ring, which is equal to circumference. We have to consider here mass per unit length, which is equal to M upon 2 pi r. Now here you have to assume that this ring consists of small parts. If you cut the ring, so this is the ring, and if you cut the ring into the number of parts, then it is observed that we have the small part of the ring. So that's why it is assumed that this ring consists of number of such small portion. Now consider one such portion of length dx and at a distance r from the axis of rotation. What is our consideration? Consider small portion, small part of ring of length dx and which is at a distance r from the axis of rotation. Now in order to find the moment of inertia of a ring, first of all you have to find the moment of inertia of small portion of the ring. So moment of inertia of a small portion is equal to the product of mass. That is, you have to consider here mass per unit length into length under consideration. We consider here the small portion of that ring having the length dx. So that's why moment of inertia of a small portion is equal to m upon 2 pi r into dx. That is only the mass. You have to write again the square of distance from the axis of rotation. Now here we can cancel this. So we write here mi of a small portion, that is capital M upon 2 pi. I write here r into dx. So that is the moment of inertia of a small portion. Now to find mi of a ring, moment of inertia of a ring, we have to integrate the moment of inertia of that small portion using the limit from 0 to 2 pi r. So why we take the limit 0 to 2 pi r? Because when we consider this ring, then the starting point the value is 0, and when we move along the circumference, then the total length of that ring become 2 pi r. That's why I write here the limit from 0 to 2 pi r. Now you have to take the moment of inertia of small portion, that is m upon 2 pi, here r into dx. Now here you have to consider m upon 2 pi constant, integration of here into r. You have to take integration of dx to the limit from 0 to 2 pi r. So that is equal to mr upon 2 pi. Integration of dx is simply x, and limit is, that is 0 to 2 pi r. Now if we put the limit, then we have mr upon 2 pi. Put upper limit minus lower limit, that is 2 pi r minus 0. Now if we simplify it, so it is 2 pi get cancelled. Therefore, moment of inertia of a ring about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane is simply mr, and this r become mr square. So this is how we have the formula for moment of inertia of a ring about an axis passing through the center. Let us revise it. Here we consider one thin circular ring which is rotating about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane. Then we consider various parameters: mass of the ring, radius of the ring, length of the ring, mass per unit length, that is m upon 2 pi r. Then we consider the small portion of the ring having length dx and which is at a distance capital R from the axis of rotation. Then you have to take the moment of inertia of a small portion, which is the basic definition, that is the product of mass and square of the distance. Now how we find the mass of that small portion? You have to take mass per unit length, which is a m upon 2 pi r, into the length under consideration, that is dx. So this is only the mass of that small portion. And then you have to take r square, that is the square of distance of that small portion from the axis of rotation. Then we simplify and we have mr upon 2 pi into dx. When we have the moment of inertia for a small portion, then we can easily find the moment of inertia of a complete ring. So moment of inertia of a complete ring that can be obtained by integrating the moment of inertia of a small portion and taking the limit from 0 to 2 pi. So I write here mr upon 2 pi into dx. Now here mr upon 2 pi constant. You have to just integrate dx. Integration of dx is x. Taking here the limit, that is upper limit minus lower limit. Simplifying it, we have the moment of inertia of a ring about an axis passing through the center, that is simply mr square, where m is a mass of that ring and r is a radius of that. Now we have to find the moment of inertia of a ring about diameter, about tangent perpendicular to plane and about tangent in the plane by assuming its moment of inertia about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane, which we just derived. It means, assuming this formula, we have to obtain the moment of inertia of a same object, but about diameter, about tangent perpendicular to plane and about tangent in the plane. So let us consider the first case. If you want to find the moment of inertia of a ring about diameter. Now consider this ring, which is again kept in a horizontal plane. Now you have to consider one axis which is passing through the center and perpendicular to plane. So here I draw one axis which is passing through the center, which is considered as a z axis. As it is passing through the center, that's why I write here IC, moment of inertia of the ring about its center. Now here I draw another two axes. Now assume x axis and y axis, that is along the diameter of the ring. So that's why I write here moment of inertia of the ring about y and about x axis. As we consider that two axes as a diameter, I write here Iy equal to Id and Ix equal to Id. Now here you have to just apply the two theorems which we learned earlier. That is the theorem of perpendicular axis and theorem of parallel axis. So keep in mind, it is very easy. When we consider the three axes, you have to use the perpendicular axis theorem. And when we just consider the two axes, then you have to use the parallel axis theorem. Now here we are dealing with the three axes. So that's why you have to now consider which theorem? Perpendicular axis theorem. So what is our consideration? Again consider the same thin uniform ring. Now here you have to find the moment of inertia of that ring about the diameter. It means, now if we rotate that ring about the axis which is considered as its diameter, so for that you have to consider the perpendicular axis theorem. According to perpendicular axis theorem, we have what? Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. Now here we consider z axis which is passing through the center. That's why you have to keep Iz equal to Ic. We consider x and y axis as a diameter. So that's why I write here Id plus Id. Now already we have the formula which we derived earlier. That is moment of inertia of the ring about its center is mr square. This is Id plus Id, that is twice Id. Therefore, moment of inertia of a ring about its diameter is equal to mr square by 2. So that is the applied case for the ring. Now if you want to find the moment of inertia of the same ring but about tangent perpendicular to plane. So for that you have to consider the same ring and you have to consider one axis which is along its ring, which is considered as a tangential axis. Now moment of inertia about tangent, that is represented by it. This is the axis passing through the center, that's why I write here IC. This is the center and this is the point on circumference. So distance between center and point on circumference gives us the radius. Now here you have to just consider the two axes. That's why we use here parallel axis theorem. Now according to parallel axis theorem, what we have? IO equal to IC plus MS square. Now here IO equal to, that is the axis around which we have to find the moment of inertia, that is the IT. IC equal to, you have to put mr square. And what is h? H is the distance between their two parallel axes, which is the radius. That is equal to here mr square. Now mr square plus mr square, that is the twice mr square. So that's why right here it equal to simply twice mr square. So this is the required formula for moment of inertia of a ring about tangent but perpendicular to plane. Now when we want to find the moment of inertia of a ring about tangent in the plane, then what is the change? Now you have to keep that ring in a vertical plane. That's why the axis which is passing to the center, that point touches at the 2 point. That's why we consider this axis as a axis passing through the diameter, and this is the tangential axis. Now if we join that two axes, again we have the joining of center and point on circumference, which gives us the radius. Now we have to use the same parallel axis theorem. But what is the difference? When we consider the moment of inertia of the ring about tangent but perpendicular to plane, we have to keep that ring in a horizontal plane, and the axis which is passing, that is through the center. And when we consider moment of inertia of a ring about tangent in the plane, then you have to keep that ring in a vertical plane. That's why whatever the axis passing from the center, that axis touches at that 2 point. That's why we consider that axis as a axis passing through the diameter. So what will be the answer? Now here again, if we consider the parallel axis theorem, so what you have to write here, that is again we have, that is IO equal to IC plus MH square. Now IO equal to IT, IC equal to ID, because this is the axis passing through the diameter, along the diameter, and H equal to R. Now here we just find the moment of inertia of a ring about the diameter, which is equal to what? mr square by 2. That's why right here mr square by 2 plus mr square. If we simplify it, then what is our final answer? That is the moment of inertia of a ring about tangent, and that is in the plane, which is equal to 3 mr square by 2. So these are the three applied case for the ring. So you have to keep in mind, in relation with the ring, we have moment of inertia of a ring about center is simply mr square, about diameter mr square by 2, about tangent perpendicular to plane twice mr square, and about tangent in the plane, that is 3 by 2 mr square. Now let us consider the second object, that is the disc. Now we have to find the moment of inertia of a disc, again about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane. So all of you know. Now here consider the familiar one object, that is the disc. This is the thin uniform disc which is kept in a horizontal plane, and this one is the axis which is passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane. And when this disc is rotating like this about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane, so in that case we have to find its moment of inertia. So for that I draw this figure as a disc. So it is kept in a horizontal plane, and this one is the axis around which that disc is rotating. So first point of consideration is, consider the thin uniform disc rotating about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane. Now you have to consider again the various parameters of that disc. So m be the mass of disc, capital R, that is the radius of disk, pi r square, that is the surface area, of disk. Now here we have to consider one more parameter, that is m upon pi r square, which is called as mass per unit surface area of disk. First of all, we consider one disk which is thin and uniform, which is rotating about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to plane. Then consider mass, radius, surface area, mass per unit surface area. Now, what is the assumption about the disk? Now, if we cut this disk into number of parts, then it will be observed that we can cut this disk into number of rings. So that is why, what is our assumption about the disk? This disk is made up of large number of such rings. So consider one such ring which is kept at particular distance from the axis. Now here I draw one ring which is under consideration. Now this is the ring which is at a distance x from the axis of rotation, and we have to consider the thickness of that ring also. The thickness considered as a dx, and x is the radius of that ring. So that's why right here consider the small portion of the disk which is a ring of radius x and thickness dx. Now you have to consider the length of small element, as the small element is a ring. That's why the length of circular object is the circumference. So that's why right here 2 pi x, because x is a radius. Then you have to consider the surface area. Surface area of that ring is the circumference, that is the length into thickness. So I write here what is the length of that small element, that is the ring 2 pi x, and dx, that is the thickness. Now you have to consider the mass of small element, that is the mass of ring, which is equal to m upon pi r square, as it is the part of disk. So that's why you have to consider here mass per unit area of the disk into surface area of the small element. So that is the mass of that small element. Then you have to consider the moment of inertia of that small element, mi of small element. So moment of inertia of the small element, that is the product of mass. If I simplify this, so I write here that is m upon r square, this is 2 into x dx, that is the only mass, and square of the distance from axis of rotation, that is the x square, twice m upon r square into x dx, that is the mass of that small portion, that is the ring, and x square is the distance of that ring from the axis of rotation. Now to find the moment of inertia of a disk, you have to consider the moment of inertia of a small element, and we have to integrate it by considering the limit from 0 to r. So here mi of a disk about an axis passing through the center equal to integration to the limit from 0 to r, that is right here twice m upon r square into x cube dx. Now this one x into x square, that gives us the x cube. So I write here moment of inertia of a disk about an axis passing through the center equal to, I take out twice m upon r square as a constant, integration to the limit from 0 to r, we have to take x cube dx. Now we have to use this formula, integration of x to the power n dx equal to x to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Here What is the power of x? That is the 3. So that's why you have to take instead of n, that is 3 plus 1 upon 3 plus 1. That's why I write here moment of inertia of a disk about an axis passing through the center twice m upon r square into x to the power 4 upon 4 and to the limit from 0 to r. Now if I again put the limit, that is twice m upon, I make out this 4 common, that is twice m upon 4r square. Now put the upper limit minus lower limit. Now if I simplify it, then the final answer that will be IC equal to here m to get cancelled with the 4, that is the, and this r square get cancelled with r to the power 4. That's why the final answer is simply IC equal to what? mr square by 2. That is the moment of inertia of a disk about an axis passing through the center. Now by using perpendicular axis theorem and parallel axis theorem, we have to derive the moment of inertia of the same object, that is the disk, about the different position. Assuming the moment of inertia of a disk about an axis passing through the center, which is equal to mr square by 2. Assuming this value, we have to find the moment of inertia of a disk about diameter, about tangent perpendicular to plane, and about tangent in the plane. So let us consider the first one about diameter. Again, you have to consider the disk which is thin and uniform. You have to consider the now 3 axes. One axis, that is the z axis, which is passing to the center, and we consider 2 axes x and y as a diameter of the disk or along the diameter of that disk. So that's why I write here Ix and Iy equal to Id. Moment of inertia about diameter. Moment of inertia about diameter. And I write here Iz equal to Ic because this is the axis passing through the center. Now here I mentioned earlier, when we have to consider the 3 axes, we have to use which theorem? Perpendicular axis theorem. What is the mathematical form of perpendicular axis theorem? That is Iz equal to what? Ix plus Iy. Just put the value. Iz equal to Ic, Ix equal to Id, Iy equal to Id. Then Ic equal to what? Moment of inertia of a disk about its center, mr square by 2 equal to 2 times Id. So that's why moment of inertia of a disk about diameter become mr square by 4. So this is our first applied case in relation with the mi of a disk about diameter. Now consider the second case. We have to find the moment of inertia of a disk but about tangent and perpendicular to plane. So tangent perpendicular to plane, for that you have to keep that disk in horizontal plane and you have to consider the axis in vertical plane. Now consider this is the axis passing through the center and this one is the axis which touches that ring, which is considered as a tangential axis. Now apply which theorem? Parallel axis theorem. So what is the mathematical form? IO equal to IC plus MH square. Now you have to put the 3 values. IO equal to IT about tangent, IC equal to mr square by 2 and the distance between 2 parallel axes, that is the r. So that's why I put H equal to r. So I write here IT equal to, this is mr square by 2 plus mr square. It become 3 by 2 mr square. So that is the second formula for moment of inertia of a disk about tangent but perpendicular to plane. Now here you have to consider moment of inertia of a disk about tangent but in the plane. So when we have to find the moment of inertia of any object about tangent in the plane, the center one axis that is considered as a passing through its diameter. Now again use the which theorem? That is the parallel axis theorem. That is IO equal to IC plus mh square. Now you have to put here IO equal to IT, IC equal to ID, because this is the axis which is along the diameter, and H equal to again R. Now what is the value of moment of inertia of a disc about diameter? That is mr square by 4. So that's why I write here IT equal to mr square by 4 plus mr square. Now if we simplify it, what is our final answer? That is IT equal to 5 by 4 mr square. So you have to keep in mind the various formulae of the moment of inertia of disc. The first one is a moment of inertia of a disc about an axis passing through the center, that is mr square by 2. Second one about diameter, mr square by 4. Third one about tangent perpendicular to plane, 3 by 2 mr square. And last one about tangent in the plane, that is 5 by 4 mr square.